Hey everybody, this is Callie D with the Smitten Kitten, and I have Stephanie Joanette here with me. I'm currently at the Exchange Hall at the AT&T Discovery District, so if you see people passing by me and looking weirdly, just mind your own business. But anyway, um, Stephanie, go ahead and introduce yourself, let everybody know kind of what you're about, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, I always get really weird with that question, but I'm going to do my best. My name is Stephanie Joanette, and I don't know what I'm about. I guess I can say like my mantra lately has been just living my life to the fullest and appreciating every single moment that I have with the people that I love, the things that I'm doing. Everything I pour into right now is having intentions. As far as like my career, my background, I'm kind of all over the place. I have, financial accounting background, have my cosmetology license. I am currently doing Forex and day trading and learning that, which I'm really excited about. I also do concerts and events. I've worked with a lot of different artists, local to national artists. I put on some really cool, events, I feel like in the past, and then I also have my own brand that I launched, which is called I Don't Know What I'm Doing .org. It's my website, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've achieved in life, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's always worked some way, somehow. And I have a YouTube video that I do kind of as my hobby, or a YouTube channel that I kind of do as my hobby. And I've picked up heavily on traveling this past year. So I guess that's just kind of like a brief into who I am as a person, where I'm at in life and my career. I don't know if that's a good introduction.
No, that's great. And it's crazy too, because I have an accounting background, so I didn't know that we also had that in common. I've been doing accounting since the early 2000s in different capacities. And so anyway, awesome. I just learned something.
Oh, I didn't know that either. That's cool. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me though.
I know, right? I like to count money.
Jack of all trades. Yeah.
Well, and it also helps with organizing and, numbers and like just figuring, you know what I mean? Like, I think accountants are kind of like, they can find like the missing thing or like the missing puzzle piece, because that's what accounting was a lot of times for me. When somebody hands me, sheets that aren't balanced, and I have to go through each line item and see, find out what's missing. Yeah, I mean, you kind of do that in a lot of aspects of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right. I guess I've never related it to like in life in that sense, but yeah, like your debits and credits, and it's very tedious, and you got to find out like what's making it off balance. Why is the chart not matching? Why is this? So you get it. Yeah, it's a lot. Exactly. It's a lot that goes into it.
Exactly. So, and I absolutely love the name of your blog. I don't know what I'm doing, because Jesus, I know I don't know what I'm doing most of the time as well. So I feel like that's something that people can really relate to. And we kind of touched base when you first started traveling. I think that's kind of one of the things that made us start talking more, because I had that epiphany in 2017. Like, I went to California with a friend, just kind of on a whim. He was moving out there, and then before you knew it, like, I was going out there all the time, and then I was taking other trips, and I was like, fuck it, let's go to New York, let's go to this place, and at first I was kind of scared being, a female traveling by myself. And I think you kind of shared that same sentiment, whenever you first started traveling, and I was like, man, just go do it. Like, I've felt more in harm's way in a lift in Dallas than I have out of town. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, and I was even talking to one of my friends about this, like how they put this stigma on women all the time to be so afraid all the time. Like, and I think a lot of it is good, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings, carry your keys so you can use them as a weapon if you need to.
Or a pencil.
Yeah. Just like, be ready to kick ass, because, your life is in danger, like every time you walk out of the door. And I think it's kind of unfair though, because then we live our life in fear, and then we don't do things like just travel by ourselves, or take a long drive somewhere, because what if, your tire gets flat, or, just there's all these things that could happen in this scary world. And I feel like if you just like concentrate on those things, then you'll never do anything. You'll just be so debilitated and just want to stay at home in your own bubble, when there's like a whole world out there to discover. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of put that out there.
Yeah, no, you definitely, hit that. Like, you, first of all, you were a lot of inspiration. Like, you helped me get started, because I was scared, I was nervous. And I feel like us as human beings, fear holds us back to a lot of things. I have experienced some weird things as traveling as a woman alone, or, you know, whatever. Like, and I can go into detail into that later, but it definitely, like, I definitely have felt, you know, now coming back with my experiences, I feel like I can go into Dallas and not be as scared alone, because I've experienced some things on my own in foreign countries, or like just different cities. And like, you have no choice but to survive and to get through it. And I think us as women too, like, it is very different traveling, you know, like you have to get out of that fear. Like my best friend also inspired me, because she's moved around the world and she's helped me get out of that shell. But it is difference between a man traveling alone opposed to a woman, because men feel more comfortable coming up to a woman that seems alone or whatever the hell, you know. And like, even like when I got stuck in Paris, like this guy was like, oh, you look stressed out. What happened? Is like, I missed my flight, or, you know, and just all this shit. And he was like trying to lure me back to his hotel. He's like, I'll be waiting for you. And I'm like, no, like, don't feel comfortable asking me that just because you see a woman in distress. Like, I'm gonna fucking handle it. And I did. But it goes hand in hand, you know. But definitely you got to learn how to let go of that fear. And I know you understand that more than anybody. Like, even us going to the beach and sleeping in the tent, you know, like that was big for me and my kids.
That was fun. Okay, so first of all, if you go camping on the beach, make sure there's light outside, because yeah, we ended up showing up at midnight and I was like, oh, it'll be fine, I'll turn my lights on. But that wind was no joke, man. Like, and I was this close. So we went camping at Port Aransas. I showed up with my two kids and I had a tent, and then Stephanie and her two kids came and had a tent. And anyway, it's amazing that we even set those bitches up. Because when you stake down a tent and sand, it just comes right back up. So it was like when you get part of it built, and it would like fly away.
Yep. I bought heavy duty stakes right after that. So they're in my backpack just in case I ever have to experience that again, because that was my first time ever pitching a tent, and we were so frustrated, but we made it. We made do. Everyone had nice tents up, and ours was like,
yeah, if you wouldn't have
worth the experience.
If you wouldn't have come back and been just so down to like figure it out, I was just, I mean, I was ready just to go rent a hotel and say, fuck it. But you were so gung ho. So I was like, all right, we'll give this one more chance. And then we ended up being able to get it accomplished. But
dude, I was jet lagged like a motherfucker too. Like, I had traveled 17 hours prior, literally got home, showered, packed, and I was like, kids, we're going to the beach. And they're like, what? And like, we drove another 6 hours. I mean, it was fun and it's unforgettable. It's moments that like that make you appreciate things so much more. And
for sure,
I would never like take that back. That was really fun. And I love your kids, by the way. They were fun.
Yeah, same. Your kids are great. So you just got back from Spain and Italy, and I guess because you missed a flight, France. So, and then on top of that, like, you went into this trip kind of a little brokenhearted. We both have gone through like a breakup with somebody that we both thought was going to be completely different than what they turned out to be. We'll just kind of, you know, summarize it like that. And you know, gave it our best effort. It didn't work. And to help save our own sanity, we both, you know, have split from these people. Kind of went through it around the same time too. So that, you know, I think that was helpful, because I think you were able to be strong for me and I was able to be strong for you. Because when you're in the situation, it's like sometimes you need to be told stuff, but you need to be told that. So thank you for being that voice of reason for me.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. At least I can be the voice of reasons for somebody, if not for myself.
Yeah.
So, and then while you were in Italy, you met somebody. So I want to hear all about it. So how did this happen?
Okay. Well, let me give a backstory first. I originally, our plan was to be in Spain because my best friend lives out there and she wanted me to show me around, and she surprised me with the trip to Italy, and the tickets were so cheap, dude. They're like $28 round trip. And, you know, the night before, like, I had a really heavy feeling, and usually I learned to follow my intuition and my gut, which I later found out what that heavy feeling was. But, you know, the night before we decided, like, you know what, we're not going to go because people are saying that the part that we were going to, like, traveling women alone, it's very dangerous. People are getting robbed in broad daylight. And I know, like, they say that about, you know, different countries, anywhere that you can go, like that can happen down the street here in Fort Worth.
Right.
But, we woke up the next morning. We woke up late. Like, our flight was supposed to be at noon. And it was like 10:15. And I was like, I had a dream last night that we were in Italy, and what do we do? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's flip a coin. And if the coin lands on the number 2, like on that side, we're going to go. So she's like, okay, Steph, you flip it. So I grabbed it and I threw it, and I was like, I don't want to look. And so I went and I looked, and it was the number 2. So like, we're like, oh, we gotta go. Like, we weren't packed or anything, and literally just like stuffed our suitcases or our backpacks, because it's like Spirit Airlines that we were on, but Ryanair. And we ended up in Palermo. And it was the most angriest I've been, but also like the happiest, like on the flip side, like the universe just, it was meant to happen. So fast forward, I was still messaging my ex, like hoping, like out of habit, like wanting to connect to Wi-Fi and hoping that he would respond to me, because we had gone into a really bad altercation, which that's just, so my mind was like, I was in this beautiful place, but still mentally, like, I'm like, fuck, like, why am I thinking about this, dealing with my heartbreak? Like, I should really embrace the moment. So I was really trying, and I had the support of my friends there. And so there's a plaza that, connects like a lot of like the popular touristy sites, and that's where we were walking. And, I had been walking up and down those streets for a couple of days. Well, there was one day that we got tickets to go see an opera show and at the theater, and we were dressed up in pretty dresses, and it was like a movie. Like, it was raining, like we had our umbrellas, and we were running down the plaza. And I looked back, and I remember him like waving and smiling at me. And I looked back, and I was like, hi. And then I was like, no, we gotta go. And so then fast forward, like we go to the opera, my phone completely crashed in the middle of the show. So we left during intermission, and, I had to get rice. My friend got rice for me. We're on the phone with Apple and just trying to figure out like why my phone crashed all of a sudden. And, at that moment, like everything just kind of paused for me, because I was like, all my footage that I was taking for my YouTube, and, like, this is the place that I've never been, and I want to share this with my kids and my family and my friends. And I'm not really superficial like that, but I don't know. So I was just like in agony, and I was mad, and I was just like overthinking and just thinking about like everything. And like, I had like a 5-minute breakdown in the hotel room, and my friend was like, I can give you Xanax and you can go to sleep if you want, and I'll just go out, with our other friends. I was like, no. I was like, we're going out. And after I went out, we ended up going to his restaurant. He works out there, and all my friends thought he was so hot, and I thought he was really beautiful too, but like my mind wasn't really there.
Right.
And so I had gone up to go to the bathroom, and I guess him and my friend exchanged WhatsApp information. He wanted my information, and my friend was like, hey, do you have a girlfriend or do you have a boyfriend? And he was like, no, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm really just like providing for my family, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, they said something like, get on your knees for my friend here. She thinks you're cute. And I was like, oh gosh. But he was like, no, I don't get on my knees for anybody. But fast forward, he ended up getting on his knees and like asking me like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I don't know. I'm hanging out with my friends. And he just, I don't know. He just like, we connected, and I was like all giddy, and I was like, is this happening? And my friends were like, just go have fun with him. Go have fun with him. Like, you're in Italy, go have fun. Like, go have a one night stand or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like, I don't really know if I can do that, right now. And he stepped to the side, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he's like, come over here. So he called me, and like, we're on the side of like the restaurant, and he was like, I might get fired for this, but he's like, I really want to kiss you. And I'm like, he's like, can I kiss you? And I was like, sure, why not? I was like, but I don't want you to get fired if your coworkers see you, or like your boss. Right. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I just want to kiss you. He's like, you're beautiful. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we kissed, right? And then he was like, I really want to hang out with you. Like, I'm going to try to get an Airbnb. All your friends can come, because he couldn't come back to my hotel because we were like in a hostel type of thing, and we want to be respectful to the lady. And some things happened with my friend, and she was a little upset. So, like some people were being rude to her and like just all this stuff. So I was like, I'll just meet you back in the plaza if I can. I had no phone. And I was like, if it happens, it happens. And, but I was like, I'll just let you know. So I ended up going back to the hotel. I showered, I got in my pajamas. My friend fell asleep, and he messaged me on Instagram. And he was like, hey, what's your hotel address? And I was like, this is my address. I was like, but I can hang out with you. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll just hang out with you outside of the hotel. You can't come in. Like, I'm not trying to do all that. And within 10 minutes, he messages me. He's like, I'm here. And if I'm being long-winded, I apologize, but
Yeah, no
there's
worries.
a purpose to the story. Yeah. So he met me at, like, I opened like the door, and it's like this big wooden door, and he's just standing out there in his, like, you know, leather jacket, smoking a cigarette, and he has his backpack, and he's like, let's go take a walk. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know you. I don't have a phone. Like, and then I just told myself in my head, like, fuck it, Stephanie. If you get stabbed in the neck, like, you're going to get stabbed in the neck and just whatever. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go. So he showed me around his city, you know, he showed me his, you know, where he went to school, and he was just kind of like filling me in like on the local stuff. And we ended up at the beach. You know, it was kind of a long walk, but we ended up at the beach, and, you know, we sat down, and he popped some wine. He got some wine out with a corkscrew, and he had cups, and I was like, do you just carry around corkscrews, like, and wine? He was like, yes, you know, this is Italy. And he's like, so we ended up, you know, drinking wine, and he ended up walking me back to my hotel. And he's like, can I come up to your room? And I said, no. I was like, but you can walk me to the elevator. And, you know, he walked me to my elevator, and we rode up in the elevator. He dropped me off at the door, and, you know, like we had some fun in the elevator. If I'm being honest, you know, it was a little while. So I was like, okay, I'm never going to see him again. But I'm sure we'll keep in touch, whatever. Fast forward, we ended up going out to eat, my friend and I, and our flight had been rearranged, you know. And that time, like, we had met some people, which I'm pretty sure is the mafia. We had lunch with them, and that's a whole nother story in itself. And so they ended up like luring us to their table. They got us desserts and wine. They bought us 2 bottles of wine, and they were just like showing us like the Italian way. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the guys was his hitman, and the other guy was his chauffeur. I don't know how to say it. The guy that drives him around, and he had like this like cross, you know, necklace, and, you know, like just talking to us like in Italian. I could kind of understand. They're like, oh, we sell medical supplies, and we're gonna miss work. And I was like, okay, you sell medical supplies, okay. Then he's like, my boss is a good man, he's rich. And I'm just trying to like be like, I'm sure he's rich in soul, like money doesn't impress me. And like I kind of got scared because they were being like aggressive, but not in a bad way. They were just like really wanting to hang out with us. And they ended up paying for our lunch. And anyway, so that like ran time over. We didn't go on our flight. We ended up booking another hotel. And, you know, the guy that I met, the Italian man that I met, ended up messaging me and was like, I was really hoping that you would miss your flight. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, actually, I'm still here in Palermo. And he's like, I'm on my way. And so he ended up coming over to where I was, but then he had to go back to work because there was traffic. And so I was like, well, I'm probably not going to see him again. Like, he tried, whatever. And then the next day, or later on that evening, he had told me, I want to see you, send me your hotel address. And so I sent it to him. And, you know, that night, like, we hung out, and like we just really had a good time. And he was like, I don't know what it is about you. He's like, this sounds crazy, but he's like, I really like you, and I really enjoy you. And I was like feeling like all this stuff too. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're so handsome. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's going on. So fast forward, like, we hung out, we had a great night. He brought me Sicily's finest wine. I was like, you and your wine. And we're just sitting outside drinking and, you know, smoking cigarettes, and just, you know, and that's something like I don't really do is smoke cigarettes, but I was in Europe. I was like, fuck it. And he, and like, even his friend was telling him like, you're being crazy right now. Like, she's just like a tourist, and, you know, you got to just figure out, like, don't be head over heels. And he was like telling him like, you know, I want to make a life with her. Like, I already know. And so at the end of everything, he asked me, you know, to take him seriously. And he said that he'd be willing to move over here to Dallas, and he's going to look into it. And I was like, really? Like, you really would do that? And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So basically, like, he asked me to be with him, and I was like, what else do I have to lose at this point? Why not? Like, had an amazing time with you. You've gone above and beyond more than my ex ever has. And he's 4 hours away. Like, you showed me more than I've ever, you know, experienced with the man. And whether we work out or not, like, I'm always going to take that and appreciate that, because you really showed me like how a man should treat a woman. And I had never experienced that before. I know I said that like a million times. And so he's already like filed his passport. We're making plans. He's gonna come in December, and like we've been talking every day, and he's just like been really open with me from what I know of him. And it's very new, it's very different. I did not expect this, but I really like this guy, and I'm really gonna give him a chance. Like I can't explain it, and that's the last thing I expected to come out of Italy, because I was in a bad place. And he told me, he's like, your friends told me that you're brokenhearted. They told me that, to be careful with you. And he's like, and I just want you to know, like, I'm going to work for you. Like, I'm going to be here for you. I want to see you happy. And I'm like, that sounds all nice and pretty, but are you really? And so far, he's been showing me that he's taking me very serious. And it's like, fuck it. And like, I even posted it on Facebook, which is something I never do. And he messaged me too. He's like, I saw what you posted on Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you mad I can take it down? He's like, no, that makes me so happy. He's like, I want the world to see, who we are. And he's like, that makes me really happy that I can make you happy. And I'm like, oh my God, like my ex would kill me. Like he used to zoom in on me and hide me, and so like, that's just very different. And, I guess European men, from what I hear, like they have more of a mature mindset, and they take care of their families and stuff, opposed to like being like me. Like they have other people that they take care of. So needless to say, with all of that, I do have a boyfriend now, and we're working on. He is Italian, and he's so handsome and so like manly, and like he's just like, oh, it's just, I love it so much. And this is the last thing I expected. It is a beautiful language. I even downloaded Duolingo, and I'm trying to learn to learn it. But he speaks English, so he started learning English in July. But yeah, it was just super crazy and unexpected. But I feel like he was a bonus on top of everything that I felt like I transformed out in Italy, because I felt like I lost everything, and he was just a bonus that now I've been able to take home with me. And like I'm willing to give him a chance and risk it. Like I'm really happy for my future now. And this is something I would never do, especially here in the US. Like I would never give someone a chance, like I'm very closed when it comes to other men. But and my best friend saw, she gave me her blessing. She's like, I really never seen a man treat somebody like that. She's like, I'm really happy for you, and of course, like, be careful, like y'all barely know each other, but it's a relationship that we're starting, and I'm just going to take it for face value and go with it and see what it grows into. Like, I'm not going to give up on him.
Yeah. And
so, yeah.
And when you first kind of told me about it, I had to do the friend thing and be like, hey, love bombing does exist, just make sure that's not what's going on. Because Lord knows I have been love bombed a lot. And, but I love seeing you so happy. And I think it's great that you're taking a chance. And like you said, even if nothing comes from it, it's still going to be a wonderful experience. It's going to be a memory that you have forever. And you're a smart chick. I mean, you can bounce back from anything. So, one of the things, man, I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was like on a YouTube, but it's like, when we have trust issues, we have to trust in ourselves that we have what it takes to move on from whatever situation. So, a lot of times in my relationships, I have trust issues, because I'm worried that they're going to cheat, or they're lying to me, or just, things that have happened in my past. And it was like, when I heard that phrase said like that, I have to have enough trust in myself that no matter if this person cheats or doesn't work out or whatever, that I can pick up the pieces and move on. And so I think I see a lot of that kind of sentiment in you right now. And it's very lovely.
It's definitely hard for me, but I've gone through a lot of shit, and I know you've gone through a lot of shit too. And I've seen you go through your ups and downs. I think us as women as a whole, we deal with a lot of, abusive behavior, and they blame us like we're crazy, and they're not. It's really just them not wanting to give us what we're asking for. It's so simple what we want. But with him, like, he reassures me, and I'm like, and he asked me like, why are you scared? And I'm like, and he told me to, like, he doesn't know anything about my past, he's like, I don't want to know about your past. He's like, I just want to focus on our future, and I'm just like, what? Like, okay, like, okay, fine, because I'm not going into this naive, like, of course, like, it sounds like a fairy tale, and, it's crazy, but I even got my confirmation when I missed my flight in Paris. I spoke to a lady on the plane, and because she heard me ask them for if they had extra food because I fell asleep. And she's like, I have some sausages and, from Italy. And she's like, where are you flying in from? And I told her like what happened. But I didn't tell her like what happened with the guy that I met. And she told me, oh, I'm leaving Paris because she's like, my husband is from here. She's like, we live in Georgia now, but she's like, we met at a cafe 15 years ago. We got together within the week. Now we have 3 kids together. I'm a citizen in France. We live in the USA. And for her not knowing anything that happened to me other than me missing my flight, like that's confirmation from the universe, like that I'm on the right path. And whether we work out later or not, like I know things happen. Like I'm not going into this with any kind of doubt. And I'm, it just makes me like really happy to know, wow, there's someone that gives a fuck about me and you don't even know me. Like it's just crazy. And I feel like even, with whatever happens, like, I know that exists out there now. And it was kind of like life-changing for me in so many ways, but I like him a lot.
I can tell it's all over your face. I like the way that, like whenever you smile,
Is it
it's so
glitching
big.
again?
No, is it glitching for you?
Yeah, no, it was, but now I'm good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I feel like the recording's good. So as long as that's really what, hopefully it translates well, because that's what we're gonna put up. So,
yay.
But one of my friends and I were talking about like, having like a romance like while traveling or or whatever. I've never really experienced that, and I think it's because I am so closed off whenever I travel. Like I'm just trying to go out and do me. It usually is a time for growth for me, so I'm like trying to discover things within myself, instead of trying to worry about like having like a little fling. I'm not really like a one night stand kind of person either. I feel like it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good, because it's doing something weird in my headphones, but maybe it's just me. So like I kind of felt when you said that, like you're not really, you don't do that. I've had men that have asked me to their hotel or who have suggested that they come, and that's like a big no for me when I'm traveling. I don't go to some stranger's hotel. I don't invite them to my hotel. We can meet up in public places. That's fine. I might give them my phone number or something, but they can take me for dinner or buy me drinks, but like, I try to at least be safe in that aspect. But I've definitely had it was a European rugby league was here in Dallas, and then they were here for a couple of days, and then they went to Austin for a couple of days. And on their first night here, I met one of the players, and like we just hit it off and spent like a week together basically, because I have a brother that lives in Austin, so it was like, he was in Dallas for a couple of days, and then he asked me to meet him in Austin. And I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Like my brother lives there. I can just go crash with him. So there's no like pressure or anything. And I ended up having a very lovely time. And we had spoken about possibly me coming to England to see him. And just some of the things that he would tell me, like while in that short little time, it was like he saw me in a way that people here did not, you know what I mean? Like, especially men. So I totally get what you're saying about like just having that connection and having somebody that like, and especially from a different, I mean, their culture's a lot like ours, but it's not. They're Europeans are very open sexually, the naked body doesn't offend them. Like there's just so much that's different about growing up in Europe versus America, that I can see how, things would just be different just as a whole, like the way they treat people and whatnot. So anyway, so I love your story. I think it's cute. Do you want to tell us what his name is?
Yeah, his name is Marco.
Oh, cute. Nice.
So, but I've already had like ever since like I posted, because again, I'm not public with my relationships online. A lot of that just because like the people that I've dated like wanted to hide it or whatever.
Right.
But and I've always been respectful of that. And even then, like I don't like people in my business, but like this time around, I told him, and I even told him, I was like, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm about to, do this interview with my friend on her podcast. And I was like, and they're going to ask about she's going to ask about my love life. He's like, tell them what they need to hear. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you so fucking perfect? But yeah,
Yeah.
his name is Marco.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, I'm excited to meet him. So he's coming here in December, and he's
Yes,
coming
that's what we're
just
pushing
to
for.
does he have just a one-way ticket, or is he going to?
No, so the plan, he's going to come for a couple of weeks, just to come and see. And then I think in February, he says he has 3 weeks. He has a few things that he needs to take care of on his end over there.
Mhm.
But we're just planning on seeing each other, and then I might go back and meet him in Madrid before then. I don't know yet. But it's just a matter of seeing me, like getting to know like the area, see if he likes it, and then we're just gonna take it from there. But he definitely filed his passport immediately to, he's like, this is not in his plans at all. And I told him, I was like, I thought you were having fun, you didn't want a girlfriend. He's like, but you changed. He's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, and it sounds super corny, but and I've had a lot of people like, Stephanie, like, what are you doing, you crazy Pisces bitch? Like, quit dreaming, like, wake up, but I've already lost so much. I don't have anything to lose. And I know what he makes me feel. And he's really inclusive, like with my kids, and like, he just really cares about every detail of my day to day.
Yeah.
So, and I know like I went on a tangent, but yeah, the plan is for him to come here. My family knows about him. He wants to meet my family because I told him my aunt was like, he can come to our Christmas dinner. And he was like, my family would be so mad because Christmas is a big deal for us. But he's like, I'm going to see what I can do to get out there. And I'm like, okay, like, come on.
That's
So
great.
it's just a matter of time.
Oh, that's so good. And like you said, you don't have anything to lose. And I actually had a friend who she met a guy from Morocco on Tinder. Like she was able to like open up the area or
Mm-hmm.
something. This was like a few years ago before, I guess, I don't know how Tinder works. It's not the dating app of my choice, but she said there was like some kind of like hack where you could open it up. So she started looking for men in other countries. She found this guy that she really liked in Morocco. She went out there to visit him, fell in love. They made plans for her to come back. And then basically she stayed there for like 6 weeks and got to know him and his family. And then he came back with her, and they've been together for like 2 to 3 years or something. Um, it's come with some problems, like him getting his work, his visa so he could work and stuff like that. But she seems to be
Mm-hmm.
happy. They have a child together, so
Wow.
I think, and I do, because of this podcast, and well, just because I suck in relationships. So I'm trying to study relationships so I can be better at it. Like it's like the one thing
Yeah.
that I've just not mastered in my life. So like I'm on this like mission to, but there's a dating coach that talks about like areas where there's like more women than men, or wait, no, other way around, more men than women. Um, and that you should like try to look there, like Denver for whatever reason is one of those places. So she was just like, and I
I
never
didn't know
really,
that.
yeah, I never really thought of it like that, like maybe I should go somewhere and date where, there's way too many men and not enough women to go around, instead of the opposite. Um, but because sometimes just getting out of your bubble is great. You never know what you're gonna get. So it's always good just to kind of go out there and give it a shot, not be scared. So I really like
Yeah.
that message here.
And that, I think that goes back to us just being fearful with things, and like, I know sounds, ludicrous, and it sounds insane. And, I know people have their regards, but it's my life. And I haven't been this healed or free. And it's not him that healed me, like
Right.
like I said, like he's definitely a bonus to a lot of things, but like just everything I experienced as a whole, and having to survive out there, like canceled flights back to back, and my phone not working, no communication, the transportation, my debit card wasn't working. Like it was just so much. And it made me grateful for, of course, my friends, my best friend, like, she really was such a light for me. And then to be able to connect with her, I've known her since I was 8 years old. And so for us to like we've always had a really strong bond, but like to really connect with her as an adult and to like travel together, like that can make or break a friendship. We were talking
Oh, for
about that
sure.
earlier. We
Yeah.
definitely like connected even more. And it's just, it made me appreciate everything so much more. And I've been like coming back now, like I've been so nice and like not negative, because normally I've been in a bad hole and just, I can be negative, and I can, because I'm like, fuck you, like I don't trust you. blah, blah, blah. And, I tend to overthink, like, if I have a feeling, I'm going to follow that feeling. But this time around, I feel like I'm full of love. I feel alive. I feel great, and for me, dating's not important. Having a man is not important. Like, I fell in love with somebody and he pushed me to my limit. And that was chaotic because I thought he was my best friend. And, that alone, the relationship just really devastated me because I cherish my relationships. But now, like, I don't care. Like, okay, sure, I have a boyfriend and we're going to make it work. And if it doesn't work, whatever. But the plan is to keep going and we'll see where it goes. Like, I'm like, just like how we were being nomadic out in Europe, like we were traveling with a backpack in Madrid for 8 hours because we had to catch the train and we had no hotel. Like that right there, like, just showed me, like, there's light at the end of whatever dark tunnel that you're in.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited.
And something that you kind of reminded me of this. I've been reading a book, read a couple of books recently involving relationship, but Men Who Can't Love is one of them. And then another one that's really good that I just want to like recommend is The Human Magnet Syndrome. I think it had a lot of eye-opening things in it, but something that you just said just about this person being your best friend, and then that you don't need a man. This was one of the quotes that I had to write down. It's not that I couldn't live without him. I could. It was the utter meaninglessness of everything that he had ever said to me. It was a horrendous experience for me, and I think that's what it is. It's like, when we have this person that we hold in such high regard and want to believe all the lovely things that they say or the way that they feel about us, and then in that moment we realize that everything that they've said was just an utter lie, that they didn't mean any of the things that they said about us or to us or in regards to us. I think that's the part that hurts the most. You know what I mean? So sometimes going from that and then because I feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing, I'm seeing somebody right now who's just been absolutely wonderful. He's somebody from my past that just didn't work out in the past, but not because he was a bad person, but just because our timing was off for both of us. And then just having somebody that communicates openly, that is willing to work on things, that does what he says he's going to do, that doesn't overpromise and underdeliver. Like, whether or not we work out, I feel like just having somebody just be reflective of what I want and then really showing me what an asshole the last person was. Like, I think that is huge. Like, just having kind of, it's almost like a mirror, like just pointing back at you, like, this is what you were, or a picture of just a disaster. And you're like, fuck, I really was in the middle of bullshit, like, and here's somebody who's like not in the middle of bullshit. So I think, no matter what happens, it does kind of heal you because it makes you realize what the fuck you were just going through. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's about self, and I think when we get addicted, because we can get addicted to people, and you become depleted after that because what you're searching for is like a meth, addict, that is looking for that first high. Like, I've never done meth before, so I don't know, but I'm just using that as a reference. Like, you're looking for that initial feeling that, and then like throughout the journey, you're trying to validate yourself to them. Like, well, why does the world love me, but you don't? And why don't you see my value? Why are you not seeing, that I'm vulnerable with you and showing you a side that I don't give to people? And they just take advantage of it. And at the end of the day, that's their own inner wounds, like their inner child that hasn't healed, and they project that out on you, but they try to make you feel like you're the bad person. And then when you call them out on it, it's like a big deal. And then you're crazy, you're this, you're that. They're not even trying to understand you logically or even try to comprehend and listen to you, even though you acknowledge your own flaws, like, and so I found myself, and I know you can relate, like, just trying to like show him, like, no, this is me, like, why are you treating me this way? Why are you giving the world and the superficial bullshit more attention than someone who actually loves you and that's been here for you? Like, literally, like, I would drive 4 hours, every 7 days in the dark, no matter what time he said, be here, I'd be there. You need, like, not that he needed money, but like, if you need money or if you need whatever, like, you need anything, like, I'm here for you 100%. Why can't you give that to me in return? and we try to validate ourselves with the person that, we love. And that's where we get fucked up in the head, and it puts fear in us, and I'm no relationship expert either. Like I really don't do relationships because I am scared, to put my heart out on my sleeve. And I've been betrayed by people closest to me. And, it gets to a point where, like, what's your threshold? How much more of this are you going to take?
Right.
Because you got to remove yourself when you see the flames. You got to remove yourself whenever the blaze comes, and sometimes it might be too late for us, and then we just like diminish ourselves. So us recognizing us as an individual, as a woman, as a mother, as an influencer, as whatever, and what you deserve, and having people, like your guy or even friends or whoever, like showing you that no, that's not what life is about. There are good people here. It makes a world of a difference, and it helps heal you. Like, you have to be surrounded by people who love you, that celebrate you, that don't tolerate you, and I know that's like a cliche saying, but it's absolutely true. If I didn't have my friends or the people that support me, or people like you that, like, give me small doses of sunshine every single day, like, I'd be completely lost. It's like being in a cave. You can go blind after 30 days being in the dark by yourself, and that's just kind of how I relate my life to. Like, I don't want to be blind. I want to be able to see. I want to be able to be loved. I want to be able to be accepted for who I am. And people like that can tarnish that and deplete us, and it's not fair, but it's easy to get consumed.
It really is. It really is. And you hit the nail on the head when you said you're searching for that first high. It's like the way that you first were, and you just hold on hope, because you're like, but we were so awesome. We were so good. Like, you treated me like this, and I love the way that you looked at me, and you made me feel special. And so you just think that you can get back there, but like, you can't. Like, it's just impossible. And I've had instances like that where I've stayed with that person for years, thinking that we could get back, because they would show little glimmers of that first, like, high or whatever. And so you're like, okay, well, we can have this again. Or you tried to, and this is a lot to do with like narcissism or emotional manipulators. That's another word that I think that should be used instead of narcissist, since narcissist is a psychological term, and most narcissists don't get diagnosed. So that's why there's only 1% of them. Whatever. Emotional manipulators, I think, is a pretty good, synopsis of that.
I like that.
Yeah, because they emotionally manipulate you to get what they want. So when you're ready to leave and you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out, then they start hoovering again, and they start giving you gifts and showing you glimpses of that person that they were at the beginning, just to reel you in. And every time they reel you in, that honeymoon period gets shorter and shorter and shorter until it's just non-existent. They just do it long enough to reel you in, and then it's back to paid programming, So like, I think that's relating it to, because it is a drug. You get addicted to the ups and downs, then it becomes a trauma bond, where you're addicted to what y'all been through together. Oh, well, we've been through so much together, why are we going to quit now? Fuck that shit. Like, I don't want to be.
It's a vicious circle, and it's easy to be continuing to go into that vortex. It's so easy to not get out of it. You're consumed by it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad I know that you and your ex have been kind of back and forth for a while. But I know in the future you'll definitely not give it as much time. I know that y'all had a history and stuff. And that was kind of like my first love, the one that I was with for 4 years, kind of in that cycle. We had been best friends since we were 15. And so, when we finally got together in my 20s, then it was like, I was loyal to him because of our past, and so I put up with a lot more shit than I probably would have with anybody else. This last time I only lasted 6 months, thank God. But even his ex, who put him through the same stuff, was like, and I figured it out within the first 3 to 4 months. It just took me that long just to get out of the relationship because I still had hope. But she even told me it's only taken you 4 months what it took me 7 years to realize, and he put her through that shit for 7 years. I don't know if I should give her like a trophy or put her in the mental hospital or something, because fuck.
I mean, I think I see a lot of strong women that we're very like, we stand firm with what we believe in, but there's always that one person that we're weak for, and they know that. And then and like whenever you say narcissism, like they want to make you seem like, oh, you're just saying that because women all say that you're
Right.
narcissistic. No, like you really have these behaviors. Like I have narcissistic behaviors. I know I have toxic behaviors that I've learned throughout the years or that I have naturally, but I'm aware of my flaws and I'm willing to work on it. But you're not
Right.
willing to work on it with me, or try to even acknowledge me or listen to me. You just care about self, and you care about whatever it is, like you don't understand that you have a whole human here that you're affecting.
Right.
And it's just, oh, like I feel like, I've recognized, like, we have so many thoughts a day, and we produce the same feelings, the same behavior, the same everything, because we're comfortable with it. When doing that, like it holds us back, 100%. And it's easy to go down the negative. Misery loves company. It's easy to go down that road and stay dark, and not want to be involved and try to like get yourself out of it. And it takes a lot of work, like how you said it took you 4 months. Like I was watching Sex in the City the other day, and she said they say it takes half the time to get over someone however long you were with them. So if you're with them for a year, it takes you 6 months to get over somebody,
Right.
and like it's really a lot of shadow work that you got to do within yourself, within your relationship, how you treat yourself, how your kids view you. Like it's just so much that goes into it that I don't think a lot of people can understand unless they have been in a relationship like that.
Right.
Especially in the entertainment industry, especially with people that want attention from other people, it gets even harder. And they try to blame us on being insecure or whatever it is, but it's
Right.
like, no, you're giving your attention and your love to things that are not going to help you when shit hits the fan. I'm here for you. Take me for what I am. I'm real. I'm authentic.
Right.
I'm raw. Don't down me,
Yeah. Give up
And
reality for a fantasy, basically.
yeah, that's why, like, I'd rather date a plumber or, a pizza maker, opposed to someone that's in the entertainment industry, because it's all bullshit and it's all fabrication. Like,
Right.
it's so gross. Ugh.
Yeah.
I have strong
I feel
feelings
that.
about this. I know you feel it.
Yeah, I've gotten into the black hole of dating people in the entertainment industry, mostly because that's where I am all the time. That's who I'm
Where you meet
around.
people.
So it's like, how do you meet somebody that's not, in that field when that's all you do? Like, otherwise I'm a bartender, and like, I'm not trying to date one of the drunks that comes into my bar,
all
Um,
the all the young folks hitting on you.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So in the past couple
Just do
weeks,
it.
I've been I've been hit on by a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old. Very, very forward like. And I'm just not used to that. Which most of the time when somebody hits on me, I have to be like, wait, are you flirting with me? Because like it'll just go over my head. So
Yeah.
I guess I appreciate them being forward, because at least I know what's going on, rather than like being like, oh wow, they're just really nice, they're trying to flirt with me. And it's funny because like the last few guys that I've actually dated seriously uh hit on me in a kind of a roundabout way, and I either didn't pick it up, or it took me like 6 months to be like, oh wow, I think he's into me. But and that's another one, like this book that I'm reading about men who can't love. A lot of it, what it is it's commitment phobia. And like listening to this book, and I just like to read and understand why people do. So like this one happened to be in my library. I guess I was in a mode at one point, and I purchased it. But guys who are commitment phobic doesn't mean that they won't pursue you. And that's one of the things that used to fuck me up with these guys, is that they would like, I had one that pursued me for 6 months, like steadily, and like I played hard to get, because I just didn't think that that's what I didn't think he really wanted me, like, and this was somebody that I never even thought I had a chance with. So to have him be so adamant about spending time with me, and then like I spent the night at his house like 3 times on the couch before we ever slept together, and he basically had to like lay it out there that he wanted to sleep with me before I even was like, oh okay, that's what's going on, And then like as soon as that happened, and and then we had our fun for a little bit, then it was like he just ran for the hills, and then only to come back. We had like a 4-year on again, off again thing. And it was like anytime that because I would be standoffish the next time, and not, really expect for anything to happen. And, it was like this game of like catch and release, and so that's something that I had it, because that used to really fuck with me. It was like, but they pursued me and they did all these things, and we had a nice time, and and he said all the right things to make me want to feel this way. And then as soon as I start feeling this way, they hit the hills, And it's kind of a mind fuck, but like guys are just like that, or people, women, I mean, women too,
Yeah,
are just
women
like that.
too.
Like, they get afraid of commitment. So as soon as like they want it, but then as soon as they get it in their grasp, then it's like, oh fuck, what did I just do?
Ugh, I've never understood that, because that was, like with my ex, like he pursued me for years and made it known, and I rejected him. Like there's times like we slept together in the same bed and I wouldn't allow him to touch me, until one day I was like, he's been here for me. And then I like
Right.
fell completely in love. And, it made me question, like, why did you work so hard to try to be involved in my life, or to let me know how you feel? And I'm finally here, 110% vulnerable to you, here for you, and you're shitting on me. Like,
Right.
why would you do that? And at this point, you should know me, because you see me go through my ups and downs. And then, like what you said, it mind fucks you. And then it makes you question your own self and like, what's
Right.
wrong with me? And blah, blah, blah. But, like none of us are perfect. We all have toxic traits, like I'm sure you do too. I do. But it's really just a matter of like learning how to communicate with each other, and two people willing to move forward. And a lot of the
Right.
times it's one-sided. And when they pursue you and they chase you and you finally give it to them, and you're really there genuinely, it's like, why would you do that? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing as hell, and it makes you, revalue your self-worth. And it's a mind fuck, like you said. At the end of the day, fucking mind fuck.
I don't know who's calling me right now, but anyway, I think we hit on a lot of really, really good subjects in this discussion. I'm really happy for you and your relationship. I hope I get to meet Marco. Is that how you say it?
Marco.
I can't quite say it. I'll have to practice.
Marco.
Yeah, Marco.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you guys, and I hope I get the chance to meet him and see the love story unfold. So maybe after he comes back and give it like 3 or 4 months, we'll do like a little update and see where y'all are at, see
Yeah,
what you've
we'll
learned,
see.
and
We'll
all that kind of
see.
good stuff, the good, bad, the ugly, all of it.
Yeah, I'm
But
open to it.
yeah, so I believe in you. I think you're a great person. I've
Thank you.
enjoyed watching you travel and stuff. I think there's nothing better than traveling. I mean, for me anyway, just seeing the world, seeing it through the perspective of your kids too. I know you take your kids traveling. I love to travel with my children.
Mhm.
Hopefully soon I can be in a good legal place where I could travel overseas. Still working on that.
It'll happen. Just
Yeah.
manifest it.
Yeah. Sooner than later. I'm almost there. But anyway, I really appreciate you coming today and telling us your story and being open and vulnerable for us and being completely honest. I love our discussions all the time. If you were to give advice to anybody that is looking to enter a relationship, or just,
Ooh.
a young girl, let's say 18-year-old Stephanie, what would you tell her?
Oh my God. I don't even know. I would just say, oh fuck, this is just so much. Like, I don't even know, like, because it's been shitty for me up to my 32 years of life. I would
Right.
just say, like, just don't allow yourself to be consumed by somebody. Like, once you start seeing those signs, really focus in on what's important to you and pull yourself out of it if you can, because it just becomes a down roll spiral, and if you are in that, surround yourself, like, don't be scared to get yourself out there. Like, that's what a lot of people do. They're just like, oh, woe is me. And I've been there before. Like, fuck, like, I don't even feel like doing anything. Just do it when you don't feel it
Right.
either. Just get up and go, and try to like open yourself up to new experiences. So, I mean, I don't even know if that's advice or not. I just know that's how I feel. Like, I
Mhm.
I don't know if that's advice, but that's just how I feel about that.
I think it's good. I think that, anytime that you feel like somebody is pulling you into their direction or into their vortex or their black hole, like, because I think a lot of times we get consumed by somebody else, just like you said, to turn your focus inward, do things that you like to do, make plans that you want to do, whether they come with you or not, plan a vacation just for you, whether they come or not, and take the focus off of them. And a lot of times what you'll see is, because it's like a leaning in, leaning back thing, so when you're leaning in, they're leaning back. So when you feel that lean back, then you focus on yourself. And a lot of times, you know, they'll come and chase you, or they won't. And either way, you have your answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
You got to remove the expectations, and you got to be okay with that, you know, and like, I know we all say like, they'll realize it one day. No, fuck that shit. Live your life knowing that they're not going to realize it. They may never realize it, and they might still live, you know, and whatever. But yeah, every day you have to have small doses of happiness, whether it's getting your nails done or taking a walk in the park. Give yourself small, you got to take it second by second, especially if you're an emotional person and you feel even more. So there's lots of different methods to it. But as far as like being in a relationship, I just know I love hard and I give myself completely. So I'm just going to focus on being a better person for myself so I can be a better person for him, you know, and that's that. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, cool. Thank you. You know,
Next.
Thank you for the time. Yeah. Or not even next. It's just for myself. Like, you know, but yeah, I really appreciate you having me on here and even wanting to talk to me about it and caring about my journeys. It means a lot to me.
Well, you know, like you said, you're not really one to put your personal life out there like that. So, you know, I knew when you were kind of posting little, like, you know, kind of almost subliminally at first, but you know, I caught it, and then, you know, posting videos of him and stuff like that. I was like, ooh, okay, I got to hear this story. So, and I wanted it to be like, you know, not me hearing it and then just regurgitating it. I wanted to do it all like right here so that I could get the full scoop and
yeah, you're the first person that knows everything besides obviously like my friend, my family. And, you know, I haven't even done my video yet. Like I'm still working on it, but you're the first person that I've told. So I appreciate you for even having me on your platform. And, you know, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me.
Yes, ma'am. Well, and your website is idon'tknowwhatimdoing.org, right?
Yeah, that's my website.
Okay. And then
my
Instagram
YouTube is Stephanie.Joanette. And then I don't know IDK what I am doing. I don't know. I'll figure out my other one. I don't remember it.
Okay. Yeah. Just message it to me. And whenever I post it, I'll tag it in there so that everybody can go like your stuff and watch your videos and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, I'm super proud of you. I love what you're doing. And
proud of you too.
I can't wait to see you in person.
I know it'll be soon. It'll be soon.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this is the Smitten Kitten with Callie D, and we are signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Awesome.